Welcome back, everyone, to the Late Night Review. And tonight, I'm going to talk about a movie that I've seen over and over and over again. A movie that not only do I have nostalgia for, but it's actually, and I'll confess, this is actually my favorite war movie of all time. My very favorite war movie, and I'm talking about the Academy Award winning for Best Actor, Best Picture, and numerous other awards, Patton with George C. Scott, the great actor George C. Scott. He's always been one of my favorite actors. This is a classic. It's my favorite war movie of all time. And in my opinion, it is the best war movie of all time. Not because it's the most disturbing, not because it's the most uh, well done in terms of the battle sequences. No, but because of the acting, because of the dialogue, because of the energy, and because of the performance by George C. Scott. There's plenty of other movies, and there's good battle scenes in here. Don't get me wrong. There are good battle scenes in here, but there's other movies that are much more disturbing, much more realistic, like Platoon. Born on the 4th of July talks about a lot of the consequences, shows a lot of the consequences of war and what can happen. A lot of drama. And there's other movies that have better battle scenes and have longer battle scenes and more intricate battle scenes where you're into the details and everything. Other movies that they have their own strengths. This movie is my favorite war movie because of the conversations, the acting, and the dialogue that George C. Scott Patton, General Patton, has with the people around him. The dialogue and the interactions that he has with his officers, all the people who are around him, all the people who are serving him, all the people who he talks to in here. His performance, his acting really makes this a special movie. In my opinion, you have a great score by the great composer Jerry Goldsmith. Great score in here. Rod Steiger was actually asked to play the role of Patton, and I think Lee Marvin, Robert Mitchum, John Wayne they also were asked and they turned it down. Rod Steiger, I believe he said, is the worst mistake that he ever made, turning down this role to play Patton. George C. Scott took it. He played it to perfection. His voice, his acting, even though the real Patton's voice was kind of high actually and wasn't gruff and rough like George C. Scott, their voices are different, but man, he brought the character to life. I grew up watching this movie. I think the score is a beautiful score actually. It's a very, very well done. Like I said, there's other war movies that are more disturbing. There's other war movies that show longer battle scenes and maybe have better battle scenes. But the acting, the the class, the acting, the the details about World War II, the intricacies, the way he interacts with not only the people around him, but people he doesn't like, people who he has fought with or argued with, people that he has mixed feelings on. And then it shows the American side, it shows the German side, it shows a lot of different things concerning World War II in this movie. And it's pretty accurate from what I've heard compared to the real Patton and his story. It's pretty darn accurate. Although in the movie Patton, it seems that him and Omar Bradley are friends in this film. Carl Malden does a great job of playing Omar Bradley, but in real life, I heard they did not like each other. So that might be an inconsistency. But for overall, I heard this is a pretty accurate portrayal of George Patton and what he did during World War II. And I like it. I think it's a classic. And it's a fairly long movie, but I think George C. Scott's acting, his energy, his performance, his energy is kind of contagious. I've seen him in multiple other films that I've enjoyed. He's such a good actor, plays so many different roles, a variety of roles, different types of characters. One of the greatest American actors in history. He has passed away. A number of years ago, he passed away. But he's one of the all time greats. And I really enjoy his performance in here. And that, to me, that's what stands out more than anything in the movie. But the rest of the movie is good. You got a great score, got a great supporting cast. They all do a good job. There's not a bad performance in this picture. This, like I said, Jerry Goldsmith's score, it really is good, and it fits. It sets up the atmosphere. It matches the movie, and there's a lot of drama in here. There's a lot of inspiration in here. How Patton talks when he goes to the battlefield and he talks about what happened, and when he talks about how he feels, when he gives his opinion, and then that score comes in and the music behind in the backdrop playing with his words. It meshes together so well. It's such a good match that this is just a classic. I have never seen a war movie that rises to kind of the majestic quality of this movie, but there's so many other war movies that I like. We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson. Like I was mentioning earlier, Platoon, Born on the 4th of July, they focus on a lot of the disturbing aspects of war, because war is hell. My dad, like I shared in other videos, my dad is a Vietnam veteran. He passed away in 2016, but he was a Vietnam veteran, 173rd. From 66 to 68, he served in Vietnam, told me a lot of stories, and there's a lot of disturbing things happened to him. And I talk about that more in my Rambo 1 review. Rambo's a totally different type of war movie than this one. Especially part 2 and 3, very different from the movies that I have been talking about, although Rambo 1 is basically a drama. So I've heard the different stories from my dad and other veterans about a lot of the hell and a lot of the chaos they went through. My dad really liked Patton. He really liked, this is one of his favorite movies, and it's always been one of my favorite movies. It's a movie that, like I said earlier, yes, it's long, but just seeing George C. Scott in this role and act, and watching him do the things he does in this film, and the interaction between him and the other figures of World War II and the other characters, is just a treat to watch. And it's fascinating how he is fascinated by strategy, and how he is, I mean, his whole life is strategy and war in World War II, and him not wanting to be left out. He feels like this is his destiny. And America was served very well by Patton in World War II. I think he was the right general for the right time, the right place. And, there's controversy, different things he said I disagreed with, different things that uh, he believed in. I probably disagree with strongly certain things, but he was a great general. And he did such a good job in World War II. And I think he deserves all the respect in the world for as a general, just as a general. And man, he really cleaned house. He really, really did a good job in World War II, and George C. Scott brings him to life. George C. Scott's a great actor, and every character I've seen him play, he brings to life. But this is a special movie. I actually think that this is George C. Scott's best movie, even though there's so many that I've seen that I like. I think this one is phenomenal. I think it's a very good war movie. It's just my personal opinion. It's my favorite war movie of all time. The rewatchability is off the charts for me with this movie. There's other great war movies. I used to watch Platoon when I was a kid quite a bit. Now, the rewatchability has gone way down. I don't know. When I was a kid, I used to watch plenty of movies that were disturbing over and over again, not because I was entertained, but because interested for some reason. As I've gotten older, I don't like the disturbing movies as much, including the horror movies that are disturbing, like some of the chainsaws or Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. I don't really enjoy watching those movies much anymore, even though there's a few of them that I like, but I kind of stay away from. Same with certain disturbing war movies. I've seen Schindler's List over and over again. Classic, great movie with Liam Neeson. It's more disturbing than Patton. The casualties of war, Born on the 4th of July, very disturbing. I don't want to rewatch them over and over and over again. Feel bad, but they're very important movies, and I'm glad they were made. They're very well done. Patton is my favorite. It's got some disturbing parts in here too. Patton does have disturbing parts, not as much as those, but to me, a war movie should be very well rounded, not just showing the disturbing parts, but showing everything. And I think Patton does a good job in showing that. Although, like I said, most of this movie is not showing the battlefield. It does show the battlefield, it does show some battles. Most of this is the dialogue, the characters, the interaction between the characters. George C. Scott as Patton, being kind of captivated by his personality and this character, this huge character of World War II. That's what makes this movie so great, along with the score and the supporting cast. So I highly recommend Patton with the great George C. Scott. This has been a late night review. Please like and subscribe and share this video so other people can see this type of content. And good night, everybody.